got something on my jacket. Shoot.
Hi, welcome to Mr. Dyer's Musings. So somehow, every time I put this jacket on, a miracle happens. I look better than I already did before. Hi, thank you for joining me tonight as we take a look at this jacket. Before we get started, I want to thank you for watching this video. If you haven't checked out my other videos, please do so after you watch this. I have a ton of Civil War videos, early campcraft videos, early Boy Scout videos, and we always take a look at artifacts. We use primary sources to delve into it. Thank you so much to my subscribers, to my viewers, to my patrons on Patreon. So as this channel is growing, we're up to 321 subscribers as of right now. My goal is to get up to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the summer. And with your guys' help, I think we can get there. And I'd also like to reach out to you guys, especially those of you who followed me since the beginning of last year, maybe caught up in the middle or whatever, but if you've been with me for a long time, I'd really like to get some of your feedback. I'm thinking about opening up a Mr. Dyer's Musings merchandise store where we sell some hats, maybe some shirts and some mugs, and they'd have different logos and different designs on it. Of course, channel related and history related. So if that's something that you think you might be interested in, please leave a comment for me and tell me what kind of merchandise you might be interested in. That way I know exactly what I should be looking at and what direction that we should probably go with this. So let's take a look at this beautiful piece of clothing that I wear whenever I do my early campcraft video. Now we're going to do this in two parts. The first part, we're going to take a look at the actual history of this jacket. And the second part, I'm going to talk a little bit about the Boy Scout aspect of it and what I kind of developed it and used it for. So this jacket is not an identical reproduction of a Boy Scout jacket from the 1920s and 30s. No, this jacket actually has a history that goes farther back than that. So at the time of the Boer War, and especially out in India, when the British colonies, when India was a British colony, you had the British troops that used to wear like the red jackets, right? Well, that kind of got changed up, especially with the heat and everything. The red jacket was just the target. You think they would have learned that since the Revolutionary War. But anyhow, I digress. So there was a British officer who basically outfitted and uniformed his troops out in India with the khaki uniforms. Now this is an officer's jacket. This is not an enlisted jacket, okay? But the khaki jacket did a lot of things for it. First of all, this is a cotton drill, so it's really comfortable even in warm weather. And drill's a very durable fabric. But also, not only is it light, not only is it comfortable, but it can kind of blend into the surroundings a little bit better. It's not a red jacket with a white cross right over the chest. Now, this became the standard British uniform for officers, this particular model, for officers in 1902. And this exact same model lasted until 1960s. Now, there's a version of this that's still used. It's not exactly the same. There's some modifications to it in the British Army. But this jacket service saw from 1902 up to about 1960. So it's had a long, proud history. Now, we're going to take a look at some of the things that I changed on it, and it's no longer exactly a duplicate of a British officer's jacket. I took the epaulets off here because the jacket that I was going for didn't have the shoulder epaulets. Also, the buttons that you see here, the original buttons were brass. These ones are not. And this is called a Norfolk Jacket. Now, Norfolk jackets, there's kind of a hazy history about the Norfolk jacket itself. There's a couple theories, there's a couple stories out there exactly who invented the Norfolk, why it was invented, etc. But we're just going to cut to the truth of it. The Norfolk jacket was a sportsman's jacket and did develop over in England. Okay, now who invented it? We don't know. Like, for sure, we really don't know. But it was a sportsman's jacket, and it has a couple characteristics that all Norfolk jackets have. You have the bellow pockets down at the bottom, often a patch pocket. This one has two, and it has a full round belt or a half belt. Now, a full belt is something that can come off, and you have the belt loops that slides in. This particular jacket has a half belt. As you can see, the belt is attached. The first Norfolk jackets also had the pleats that ran from the top all the way down to the bottom on both sides. As you can see, this one does not have a pleat on the back, and it does not have a pleat that goes all the way down. So that was the original Norfolk jacket. The bellowed pockets made it really nice for ammunition, for animal calls, and miscellaneous things that you just need while you're out in the field. So it just makes sense that this, for the military who's out in the field all the time, would be a great adaptation. So the Norfolk jacket was used for sports first, and then it became a military jacket, and then organizations adopted that jacket. Okay? So let's take a look at and discuss the features of this for my use. Now, I've taken this jacket and I've modified it for a Boy Scout impression. Now, in 1910, after the Boy Scouts of America was founded here in the United States, about a year later, they came out with a catalog, and they had all the different equipments and different uniforms for the scouts to wear. Now, the original Scoutmaster's or Scout Leader's jacket was, in the purest sense, a Norfolk jacket. So it did have the pleats that ran on both sides. I'm not going for that time period. My time period that my impression is going for is more the 1920s and 30s. So that wouldn't work for me. And honestly, I didn't really like how it looked. So this jacket, you start seeing in the in the 1920s, it gets adapted for the Scout Leaders. There's some differences though from a 1920s, 1930s Scout Leaders jacket and this thing. The biggest one is it didn't have the epaulets that I already talked about. The second, that isn't as glaring, the pockets. As you see, the British pockets, they have a scallop on it. Well, the Scouts, they didn't have the scallop pockets, they had a triangle pocket. Same thing for the bellows pocket in the bottom. But besides that, and a little detail on this, it does have a French cuff. French cuffs were used in the 1910s on Scout uniforms, but they were not used on Scout Leaders uniforms. So that's another detail that doesn't exactly match. And the belt. Scout Leaders jackets, they had a removable belt. This one is a half belt, so it can't be removed. Think of any other differences. That's pretty much it as far as the differences, the glaring differences from the British uniform jacket to a Scout Leader's jacket. Now let's talk about some details of this jacket and why I love it. Like, this thing is awesome. And then I'm going to tell you some more details about where I got it from, my review of it. So we have the patch pockets here, and it's not a bellow pocket, which means it doesn't open up any wider than what it already is. All the buttons that are on it are original Scout buttons, including the front buttons, and these ones are really hard to get. And they do date from the 1920s. These are Eisner buttons, and it has the big bellow pockets. Big bellow pockets, especially when you're out hiking with scouts or just out in the field, it's so nice. You can put tinder in here. You can, of course, keep your pocket knife. You can keep your compass. You can keep extra rope. I mean, this thing's just fantastic. I found out the last camp out when I took it off for the night, my jacket must have weighed like 7 pounds or something with all the stuff that I had in the pockets. And honestly, the way it wears, I didn't even know that that's how much it weighed until I took it off. The Scout Leaders in the 1920s were supposed to wear the B.S.A. collar brass, and they wore the troop number. Now, after the 1920s, the regulations actually changed. The collar brass was not something that you wore. Instead, you had your position insignia on there. So you'd have a Scoutmaster's collar brass. Same thing with the hat. You know, they took away the Scout Leader's badge on his hat, and because it was supposed to be worn on the collar instead. Let's take it off. Let's take a look down here. So this little pocket here, that would be used for your pocket watch. I tend to use it for my compass. I tend to keep my pocket watch, especially since you're out in the field, and I'm pretty protective about my pocket watch. I don't want to get lost. I'll either keep my pocket watch up in my chest pocket or maybe one of my bellows pocket. But I don't keep it in the actual watch pocket. I keep my compass there. And see, we saw the back. It does have a split vent, which is also really nice. So when you're kneeling, or if you're riding a horse, or just being active, that doesn't get in the way. It doesn't get torn. On the inside here, it has these armpit, cloths. Now I don't know if this is original to the British jacket and the style and everything. I know it wasn't really used in the Boy Scout jackets, but this is a fantastic addition that I really love and appreciate, especially when you're out in the heat. You're going to be sweating a lot. Nothing's worse than armpit sweat coming through on your jacket. So this helps guard that. Let you take a look at the other inside. So there you go. That's the Norfolk jacket, the British officer's cotton drill tunic. So where did I get this thing? I got it from What Price Glory. I tried to find a jacket, elsewhere that I could modify. I tried, or that was exactly like the Boy Scout jacket. I couldn't find it, and I reached out to several people who are tailors. And the cost of having a Norfolk jacket made, from my impression, it was just out of reach, way too out of reach for me, because there's no exact pattern like it. So they would have to draft a completely new pattern. They'd have to fit it to me. It was just, like I said, way out of my financial reach. So I did search around, and I did some serious history looking and research, and I found this, and like I said, it looks almost exactly like it. So What Price Glory makes this jacket, and now this is my review. The jacket is awesome. I spend time in this jacket all the time. It's not something that's a costume. It's not something that's just sitting in my closet. I've been taking this thing camping with me to all my troop campouts, to my hike. In fact, I got this for Christmas, and right after Christmas we went on an 8-mile hike, and the thing just, it's awesome. There's no tears in it yet. The buttonholes, they're not coming undone. There's no stretch marks in the fabric. It is cotton drill, so it is pretty tough. And I've washed this, I think, maybe twice now, and it's not shrinking. This jacket is just a fantastic piece of equipment, and I have to give it 5 stars. And as you see me wearing it throughout all my videos, as the time goes on, you'll see it gets used. It's not something, like I said, that just gets hung up and stowed away in between making these videos. This thing is getting used out in the field. And that's what makes it really nice. I have a sincere appreciation for this garment, because getting it used, getting dirt on it, as in my introductory video, getting some coffee or something spilled on it, that's what it's for. It's a field jacket. So if you're looking for something similar, I would suggest you get it. It's actually really affordable, and the best part is the shipping on What Price Glory is insane. It's super fast. Even during the holiday season, when mail was really slow across the United States, What Price Glory got this here in the United States faster than a package that I bought off of eBay, and it took like 6 weeks to get to me. So this thing, it took no time at all, like a week, maybe less than a week. It was super fast. And this thing comes from overseas. So the customer service is also fantastic. The first time I ordered the jacket, it was a little too small. I sent it back. I got a larger one. So maybe that's something you should consider too. Maybe get a size extra larger. There you have it. That's my review of this jacket. I think it's fantastic. I have nothing but positive things to say about it. If you have any questions about the jacket, please leave a comment or reach out to me. I'd be happy to try to answer it or do some research on it for you. But there's a reason why this jacket lasted so long in the British military, and a new iteration of it is still used. Okay, so the Norfolk jacket. I hope that was useful to you. Again, please leave a comment. Please leave a like. If you appreciate this video, if you liked it, if you found it interesting, please click a like, because that helps others find this video. And it also helps our channel grow. Please share it with others. If you know somebody who likes antiques or likes old things or military history or scouting or campcraft, whatever, share it with them. Let's reach out. Let's try to get this channel growing. Help me reach our goal of 1,000 subscribers. I hope you have a wonderful week. Give a kiss and hug to your loved ones, and take care.